Cup quarter-final news. We've got news of the Wimbledon semi-finals coming your way. Welcome to another World Cup World Sport Live from Rio with me, Amanda Davis. Well, yellow is the colour in Fortaleza as Brazil battle it out against Colombia for a place in the World Cup semi-finals. Luis Felipe Scolari has spent the last few days hitting back at those who have criticised his side for their over-emotional, below-par performances so far, insisting that they have one hand on their 6th World Cup title. Well, they're midway into the second half in Fortaleza, and it does seem that they certainly have one foot into the semi-finals against the Colombia side in the World Cup quarter-finals for the first time. After 70 minutes, it is Brazil 2, Colombia 0. Thiago Silva bundling the ball home after just 7 minutes, giving the hosts a fantastic start. And we have just seen the most phenomenal 35-yard free kick from David Luiz, his first ever goal in a Brazilian shirt. Well, I'm pleased to say Brazilian correspondent for 442 magazine, Mauricio Savarese, is with me in the studio. Deep breath, and I suppose you're a little bit happier than 5 minutes ago now.
Very much, and this was actually less troublesome than the match against Chile, so Brazilians tend to be very anticipating the game against Germany, because Luis Felipe Scolari said last year that that would be a very difficult match to play, and Brazilians are already looking forward for that. What
has been the difference today? There's no doubt that they have been much improved to what we've seen so far in this tournament.
Well, the difference is that Maicon is a better defender than Dani Alves, and that showed in the match. He really stopped James from Colombia, and he could also get a better midfield this match as well. Paulinho and Fernandinho have worked together much better than they have with other partners in the previous matches. So that's very clear in this match today.
And there'd been so much build-up in this match about the number 10s. James Rodriguez from the Colombian side, Neymar for Brazil. It's not been those two players making the headlines, though, has it?
Very much. And Neymar is not doing a fantastic match until the moment, and James Rodriguez is not doing a fantastic match as well. But that's what happens when you have two players who are very much on focus of everyone else. So you have to have the other players to actually fit in their role during the match, and that's what happened to Brazil. It didn't happen to Colombia this time.
There was a lot of criticism of this Brazil side in the last couple of days. It could have gone one way or the other, frankly. Did you, or how valid did you think that criticism has been?
Well, Brazilians are very, very difficult. We're very bipolar. We're either fantastic or we're terrible. So against Chile, we weren't exactly terrible, but we didn't get the finishing right. This time, they got the finishing right, and that's the main difference between the two matches. I would say that Brazil is pretty much growing into the competition. They are playing Germany in much better fashion than they would if they had just skipped the match against Chile. I would say that I'm pretty confident Brazil can actually reach the final.
Okay, that's a big statement, and we've heard the fireworks going here, the car horns blazing. It's been a very different Brazil game atmosphere on the streets to what we've seen in the past. Is there the sense that these guys are now winning over the Brazilian public?
There's another thing that also counts. It's the fact that in this match against Colombia, Brazilians are pretty much saving face until the rest of the tournament, because not reaching the semi-finals would be something really difficult for a traditional nation, a footballing nation like Brazil. All footballing nations reach at least semi-finals, and the game against Colombia, we've played over and over with them in qualifiers and friendlies, and we've beaten them many, many times. And to lose them at home in the World Cup would be really terrible. Now the semis are a different business.
Okay, so you mentioned making it to the final. That means easy work as far as you're concerned in terms of getting past Germany?
No, of course not. This will be the most difficult match for Brazil in the tournament, I would say. Even more difficult than the final. Germany were the favorites in the beginning of the tournament, to my impression. But in the games against Algeria and the game I've just seen at the Maracanã Stadium with France, they weren't as impressive. They could actually tiki-taka their way into the quarterfinals many times. But in the game against France, they played German football, which is, as Brazilians say, a sport that looks like football, but Germany always wins in the end.
Okay, Mauricio, great to speak to you. There are 15 minutes left to play in Fortaleza, but it is Brazil 2, Colombia 0, and it does look like it will be Brazil heading through to take on Germany. They booked their place in a record 4th straight World Cup semi-final with victory over France. A single goal from Mats Hummels after 13 minutes made the difference. It had been billed